Hey gang, it's been a bit. I've been kind of laid up with a stomach bug, which I usually don't get colds and flus and all that stuff. I get diseases. I don't get the simpler things in life, but ended up getting hit with one that kind of knocked me out for a bit. So I got lots of reading done during that time. So we have a nice stack of comics to review and some other ones that I'm going to split into a couple other reviews and get those out to you. But yeah, if you're wondering what happened the last week or so, that's pretty much it. Pretty much out of commission, but I'm still able to get reading done, so that's a good thing. So I got a nice variety of things to put a few shows together today, and I'll get them out over the next week. So keep an eye and ear out for those, and check out the ones that interest you, or check them out all of them. Subscribe, like, help us out. Tell a friend, and we will keep bringing you the fun. So let's get to it. Starting out, we got Alice Cooper, number 5, the end of the battle between Lucifer and Alice. And we get to see Alice just trying to figure out a note, get it all ready for the battle. Working with Gabriel. I don't see the purpose of that. Excuse me. Start right off the bat with a raspy throat. Gotta fix that. Start sucking on a lemon before I do a show. Alright. But Gabriel is kind of supposed to be helping Alice. Doesn't really do much for help. Uh, Basically talks him through things. Tries to get him ready for the Battle of the Bands thing going on. All at the same time, you got Lucifer sitting there trying to get himself set up and ready for the battle. And while he's doing that, he's got to mess with Alice to kind of wear Alice out. And I'm not going to give it away. It's basically this is the battle. This is the final battle between the two. They're going to take it into their own hands, see who can win, see who's going to control everything. And not going to give away the outcome and stuff like that, but they end up going through a variety of things. You get through all this, and it's okay, but not great. I like the first volume better. Second volume, I felt was very pushed, very weakly written. It's like someone just, I got to get this out. You want me to put 5 more issues? You want a second volume? Fine, I'll throw a story together quick. Here you go. Let's put this out. And I mean, the artwork was all right, but the story was very lackluster. It was just very, very pushed. The battles and stuff were very minimal. They could have easily made the battle into 2 comics and had more fun with it, made it more intense, but everything was so quickly played out that I had to go back and look at pages like, well, did he even play? Did he play? And what's going on? And it's like, did they get a song out of piece? Did they just knock out a couple notes? It was very, very weak in the storyline. So, needless to say, if a volume 3 comes out, I will not be joining it. I'm not going to waste money on a third volume that's going to probably be even weaker because they're probably pushing that out even faster than the second volume. So that's a bummer. I expected more. But that's the thing that drives me nuts about music related content. All these bands that put out comic books put the highest price tag on their trades and stuff. And you're an average trade that sells for 20, 15, 20 bucks. They're wanting for, because they're a musical band, they're so important. Their trades are coming out at 30, 40, 50 bucks. And I mentioned the Jimi Hendrix one not long ago that just came out. It hasn't come out yet, but it was in the pre-orders, and I wanted to get it, but it's like it's just ridiculously priced. I don't know what I'm getting my hands on, so I'm gonna wait till I can see the thing in my hands, because so many of the music related ones are very weak storyline, and it's just a bummer that they focus on the concept of their character and not the story behind the character. So that's a bummer. But you want a good story? Check out Army of Darkness Forever. This is also issue 5, final issue, or is this the final issue? I could be wrong. I think I am wrong. I think this is a 6-issue run, because where this ends. Yeah, there's one more issue for this, so everything goes to hell in 30 days. But you're seeing Ash still trying to battle away in different years, different dimensions. Not different. Well, yeah, different dimensions. And when he goes way back in time and stuff to deal with the wizard and that on the Army of Darkness storyline and stuff. I guess it's not really a different dimension, but and he does have special tools and abilities that the wizard set him up with. Some little robots helping him find the Necronomicon pages. Got a giant war device he's got to deal with in this one to get a page from. And so you start the story back in 1993, dealing with his S-Mart days, and even there, you got your evil Ash inside of Ash and how that's playing out. But yeah, that's holding its own, and looking forward to the finale of that. What happens to it, and then finding out what the next little run is. So I don't think they're going to stop. I think they're going to keep pushing through these. But now we're going back to Bummer Town here. At Tom Holland's Fright Night, issue 4. I thought I stopped these, but these things were ordered so long ago that they came out 6 months after they were supposed to come out. And just, I'm still annoyed by the artwork. I mean, we have our characters, and it's just, I I have no problem with the artwork if you don't use the characters from the movie. But when you're using the characters from the movie, and that's not Vincent Price. That face is not even close to Vincent Price. It's just terrible. Terrible how they do these. I mean, even when they have a moment in here where the character's parents and family members get caught, and they look exactly, granted they're related, but they look exactly like our characters that are dealing with everything, and they have the same colored clothes as each of the characters and everything. It's like there's no imagination with the artwork, and then the storyline itself, again, is lacking. I mean, it's got its moments where it's got strong bits and stuff, but our evil she vampire gal here, she's the main vampire this time in the house. They're playing off the same storyline as the neighbor in the house next door as the vampire. Now we got Evil Ed that's back and causing all kinds of problems, and then he ends up letting our characters know some things. And it leads into some other stuff, and it's going to be going to the final issue here. I believe number 5 is going to be the end of it. And then there's an Evil Ed one shot that I just mentioned that I was debating on buying since it's a one shot, but then after reading this and being so disappointed with all the first four issues of this, I just make it a whole new story. If you're not going to make the characters look like the characters from the movie, then make it a new story. And you can have them. There's a million vampire stories out there. Doesn't have to be called Fright Night. But if you're going to do something off a movie, it better be off that movie, and it better look like it, and the storyline better hold up better than this one has. There's lots of better things out there, so better yourself and get something better that's more enjoyable to read, such as this. But it started strong, it hit a drag point, and it ended too weakly and too quickly. And what am I talking about? Yeah, Gunslinger Spawn. This is not the problem. Gunslinger Spawn number 28. We're getting to see our hobby Yavi character. And now, just so you know, we got script, of course, by Todd McFarlane, but art is done by Dexter Soy in this. Colors by Ivan Nunes. I mention that because you're going to see a reason why in a bit. I love the way the artwork and everything is done for this one. I love the characterization of this. Again, you can't take a character and change that character. You gotta keep the character as the character. But in the future, you'll see some things change. And here we got Javi sitting there dealing with an old friend that had some things happen, and now he's completely roboticized. We talked about him in the last issue also. And Gunslinger has to deal with him, and Gunslinger is the weakest Hellspawn out there right now. And he's got very few powers left. He's very weak. But in this battle, he does what he can to survive. And we also have our character that Javi's supposed to be. I mean, they were together for the longest time. He helped out Gunslinger get his feet on the ground, get him to understand what society's like nowadays, what a motorcycle does, because Gunslingers from the Western days, not used to our technology and stuff, try and help with computerized stuff, help find things. It makes no sense because that character is with Gunslinger, and there's a key thing to that character that we were told about with his father and all that stuff, the angels and everything. Nothing happens with it. It's like we get to see him with the Indian guide, or I'm not sure, the spirit guide character. I can't remember where he came from, but he helped Gunslinger out and was set to watch over the kid while Gunslinger dealt with things going around him. But it's kind of weird because nothing ever really happened with that kid's storyline. And then now we take this and set it aside, and we grab Spawn number 350. Spawn number 350 is the finalization of the big battle for all for the throne in hell. And of course, our main focus is between Sin, the clown, and Al battling away for that throne in hell. They're our main three characters that we've been watching going for the chair. We see everybody else battling away throughout hell, getting different characters getting wiped out, things happening, all that stuff. They don't really serve no purpose at the throne point. all of them were put together in different factions to focus on that throne point. But they're not. They're just kind of off dealing with their own battles between all the different factions out in the Hell Realm, which that happens all the time anyways. So what's different about that? I have no idea. With all the gateways open on Earth, you would think there'd be a bunch of battles going on Earth also. With the plant people and stuff, nature group, the angels and all that, you'd think there'd be battles in heaven. There'd be battles in the floral land or whatever. I can't think of the name of it. Right now, it's like all these different ones, you'd think there'd be battles going on at each point. Never really got to those battles. I was going nuts because Gunslinger Spawn was going on and on and on. I wanted to stick with the run, which I did, but I was going nuts waiting for some big battles to happen. It's like I was all excited when the clown appeared. I thought we were going to see him doing things. I kept an eye on the King Spawn, the Scorched, all the different runs, just waiting for something that I could jump into that had the clown dealing with, because Violator was uh, the last one seated at the throne. And then when he died, not Violator, Melbolgia. And when he got destroyed, that's how the throne became available again. But this final battle, I'm not going to give anything away what happens. I'm just going to mention that those three are battling away, and you have to read the storyline to find out. But it takes an interesting turn, but it's not interesting to me. I don't feel like I need to keep going on with it. I have probably the next two spawns pre-ordered already, so I will get those yet. But what they're doing with everything, I'm not sure if I want to stick around. Because we have a new ruler, a new artist, a new direction. Gunslinger Spawn number 29. Our Gunslinger character's changed. He's drawn completely differently, so he's a different person now. So I'm not fully feeling him as our original character. The artwork's alright, but to me, the characters, so many of them seem similar. So it's hard to really feel the flow of it yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to try. But now we still have Ivan Nunes doing the coloring, but we have Carlo Barberi is our artist now. I like the artwork. I just, when a character's image changes, that's a long running character. Why change the look of that character to the point that he's not really as recognizable as what I know him from after reading 30 comics of that character? So we're looking at a new look with Gunslinger, starting out life all fresh and fancy. I don't want to give away. I can't give away anything from this because it would ruin things that are going to happen in the finalization in Spawn 350. But we're looking at a lot of our characters starting fresh, going through some things. Where they're going to go down this road is going to be interesting. We got characters all over the place, and I'm going to give it a chance and see where the storyline is going to flow to next. But I was really disappointed with how they did the whole leading up to 350 thing. There should have been so much more that they could have done. They could have went into some really awesome deep battle scenes. That's what I expect from Spawn. I expect some. If you're gonna have that many bad characters and good characters put out there, and set up for a huge battle. I want to see that battle. I want to see something going on with that battle. But it was very weak. It was one of the weakest wars I've seen with that many characters. It should have been way bigger. But we got Zoe Thorogood's Hack Slash Back to School, issue 3. I don't remember issue 2. I remember the start of the storyline, and I'm wondering if somehow I got skipped over on number 2. But I'm going to have to double check. I could have read it, because she did get picked up by the lady. The lady took her back to the school. The school set her up with some things. Yeah, I might have read an issue 2. If I did, I reviewed it, so we know. But our girls have to go on a little mission to a certain strip joint style atmosphere where body parts are showing up and there's a slasher environment. It's interesting looking characterization creatures in here. But we find out that there is a slasher that's building something, creating its own evil entities throughout here. Very strange body dysmorphia, is it called? Or putting different characters together to build new characters. But we get some looks into Cassie's journal and stuff, find out more about what's going on around the school, get some more information on some characters in the school. We still aren't seeing Vlad. I mean, we're seeing Vlad, but we're not seeing him in the action like I'm hoping we will soon. I was kind of expecting in this issue when some stuff was happening, I was expecting him to pop up and help Cassie out, but we'll see what happens in the near future because I think this is also going to only be a 5-issue run. An introduction to Zoe Thorogood doing this. I really like what she's done so far, so I hope she stays on for a little while, but I also want my Vlad character. I want him to be part of it. It is hack and slash. It's like 2 characters that are represented, but only one's really doing anything right now. So, but it is an awesome story if you haven't seen it. There's going to be a lot of interesting female badasses coming out of that school. And they also help someone out in this one that ends up being a future possible member. So we'll see what happens with that storyline. We got Haunted House, A Love Story. Number 3 and 4 popped in at the same time, which I always love when that happens. You can get a couple stories out of the way, so I don't have to try and remember what's going on. This is, of course, by our friend Winston Gambro that we had on the Crimson Cull Comic Club as a creator interview. Each of these stories take us into a different... each one has a nice standalone story. You could read any one of these without having to go back to the beginning, but you will be questioning certain things because our original house owner does get mentioned throughout these stories, but we also get a little bit of Blood Moon Comics. Oh, okay, I have to check that out. Something with Blood Moon Comics, but they got a Spawn Con exclusive. We also find out more about a certain character that keeps popping up in all these storylines. And the house is wondering about him itself and trying to figure out this character. But we do get to know a little bit more about him in these issues, which is nice. And it's still playing with the families. It's each one's trying to deal with their life and their surroundings and where they're at, and our house is struggling to deal with life without its original owner and wishing they would add more time together. It's just wonderfully written, wonderfully drawn comic about a haunted house that just wants a little love, wants to be respected, wants to be cared for correctly, just wants to be happy. But then we got I Hate Fairyland, or the B version. This is number 11. We have our queen that is given mortality, sent back to Earth. She made it through, got away from Gertrude, and Gertrude's finding out about this, and she's having problems while she's on Earth, being immortal. All kinds of things are happening to her along the way. And at the same time, Gertrude's hearing about what's going on, and our characters will always have issues with each other whenever they're around. But it's fun watching the sorceress go through all the little mishaps and problems that she goes through while she's mortal, or somewhat mortal. Because the stuff she would have went through, she wouldn't have made it through the first thing if she didn't have a little extra help. But yeah, that story's fun as usual. Got the final Space Usagi Death and Honor, number 3 of 3 by Stan Sakai. So happy this character's back around. I hope we keep going with some of these stories. We got General Usagi and Clan Shirahoshi hopes a union with the Mino clan, led by Princess Masayo, will allow both of their groups to survive and rebuild from attacks by shared enemies. But we gotta deal with problems first in this issue, and we get to see how our past lord gets dealt with, while the new lord will sit there. Basically, Kyoshi, the son of the lord, will be taking over things, and the marriage has to happen and all that stuff to keep their kingdom safe. And while that's going on, Usagi has to deal with an entity that just so happens to be someone from his past that we've been talking about, that turned on everybody, and now Usagi's trying to put him in his place, while yet the person that kind of turned his mind and set him on his path, she is manipulating things in her own way. And it's a wonderfully written story, and the usual Stan Sakai enjoyable artwork. Loved it. Glad we got it. Hope we get more soon, since the 40th anniversary. And the final one we got is Van Helsing Vampire Hunter issue 2. And our story here is getting deeper into Van Helsing trying to help out a couple characters she knows, while at the same time her friend gets turned and into a vampire, and he's turned by her ex-lover. I guess you could say still lover, but ends up turning her, and she thinks he's doing it to get them together, yet he's just doing it because he's just evil and just causing all kinds of problems. And he also is working with a certain evil entity that's controlling things that he does, and at the same time, our Liza Van Helsing has to make decisions about friends and what's she gonna do, and is she gonna help them down the road? Is she gonna have to put them out of their misery? She just keeps coming up with more and more people she knows getting in harm's way, but yet she also has some people she knows that are backing her up. So that's a good thing too. So we'll see where this goes. And this is issue 2 of probably a 5-issue run again, 5 or 6 issues. But I like where that one's going. I like that we're getting other vampire hunters thrown into the mix now, being introduced to them, learning more about those characters. Yeah, that's it for today. We're gonna end it there with the newer comic book reviews. We're going to have some other ones I'm going to put out today. I'm not going to put them out today. I'm going to get them recorded today, and I'll put one out a day over the next few days to finally get some stuff out there for y'all. And keep following us at Under the Cult of MS. Rate, review, tell a friend, subscribe, like, share, help us however you can. Check out Crimson Cult Comic Club. And we will sit there. Yeah, it looks like this week's going to mostly be reviews, and then possibly previews. So I'm going to be playing with a new camera setup also this week. See if I can get that working. So keep an eye out, and we'll keep putting it out. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.